What is going on, everybody? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the new cup that was dropped by the Silph Arena, and that is the MIR Cup. Now the MIR Cup is something we've never seen before, and ironically it is a mirror of what season 1 was. I know a lot of us were thinking, ooh, there'll be steel type, maybe there'll be fire and ground, maybe water, but Dromps got us, and the MIR Cup is the collection of all season 1 tournaments. So the Boulder Cup, the Twilight Cup, Tempest, Kingdom, Nightmare, Rainbow, Jungle, and season 1 regionals are all eligible ranked tournaments, meaning your community can decide which tournament you want to do as the ranked tournament, or your community can host all 8 tournaments and then you yourself get to decide which one is going to be ranked. But before we get into the video, if you guys are new to the channel, welcome. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on all the latest Pokemon Go PvP content. Without further ado, let's get right into the MIR Cup. Alright guys, we're going to head over to pvpoke.com where you guys can check out the rankings and do battle simulations for your Pokemon Go PvP tournament. Now, what you're going to find is that there's not actually a category for MIR Cup because, like we mentioned earlier, the MIR Cup is a choice of all previous cups. But what is important, guys, is the changes to the meta that we have seen in previous cups. So for anyone who is new, old tournaments like the Boulder Cup, there was a meta back then that is not really the meta now because of all the new Pokemon, all the new moves, all the buffs and debuffs to certain Pokemon. So we see a drastic change in some of the older tournaments. So let's go ahead and start from the beginning, shall we? We're going to go with Boulder Cup. And if you guys remember back in the day, Boulder Cup was all about Skarmory, Metachan, and Marshtomp or Whiscash. And you could bring 2 of it. So I've seen people run double Skarmory and a Metachan, or double Metachans and a Mudboy. But this time you can only use 1 of each. But remember, Metachan has Power Up Punch. And we also see that Swampert, which we will be getting this weekend, will have Hydro Cannon. And guys, Swampert is literally one of the best Pokemon in the Great League. So you definitely want to find a very good PvP IV one for all of these tournaments. So as we see from the rankings for the Boulder Cup, we got Skarmory, Metachan, Swampert, Bronzong, Gallade. Jirachi is in there, so if you attended GoFest and you have a Jirachi, you may get an upper edge because of the confusion and Doom Desired damage. Torterra as a Razor Leaf user, because remember, Mudboys are all over the Boulder Cup. Then we got some more fighters. Our Mudboys, Relicanth, Toxicroak, more Mudboys, Steelix, Blaziken, again with Blaze Kick. But what I really want you guys to harp in on is that Metachan has Power Up Punch for this tournament. So the meta hasn't shifted too much, but Metachan is going to be huge. Swampert is going to be huge. Skarmory is going to be huge. So you're going to need to make counters for those guys, because they will definitely be probably the 3 most common Pokemon we will see in this tournament. We move to Twilight Cup. If you guys remember Twilight Cup, it was very heavy on Toxicroak, Skuntank, Azumarill, and then like a confusion user like Venomoth. And now we see that it's kind of the similar rankings that we've seen before. There is Haunter, there is Togekiss, but because of all the poison Pokemon, Charm won't be able to really make a big dent into this meta. But nothing's really changed, so staying with kind of the same team you used back then of Toxicroak, maybe Umbreon, Azumarill, Venomoth, Frostlass, Skuntank, you're going to be sitting pretty good, guys. Alright, moving on to Tempest Cup. Again, Tempest Cup was where Tropius was a god. Tropius is still rank 1 for the Tempest Cup, so maybe if you haven't gotten them yet, don't forget Abomasnow is a good option for a Razor Leaf user. As we see, Abomasnow rank 4. But you guys will notice water really dominates here. We have Swampert, Lapras, Quagsire, Lantern, and that's because of how much damage and coverage they have in the meta. And then Lapras, obviously, with Ice Shard and Ice Beam, which we had from the Lapras raid day. Then as we go down farther, we got some of our steel guys, Steelix, Skarmory, and then the snow guys, Gallade and Piloswine, Magneton, Frostlass. So you guys kind of get the idea. Altaria is in there. Altaria is a great pick, but remember there is a lot of counters to it here. But Tropius and Swampert and Lapras are going to be huge in this tournament. Lantern as well, and Quagsire. So we're going to head over to Kingdom now. Kingdom Cup was all about Lucario, and it still is. Lucario is going to be the #1 Pokemon for the Kingdom Cup. So if you didn't get to participate in a Kingdom Cup, look to either hatch a Railu that is under the threshold or trade for one. You're definitely going to want to have Lucario, Bastiodon, Lapras, and Altaria, the ball core. The ball core meaning Bastiodon, Altaria, Lapras, and Lucario. They are still going to be the dominant core. These are the 4 Pokemon you want to gun for, and the rest are kind of flex picks. Me personally, I went with a Alolan Marowak, but you could obviously go with the Blaziken, you could go with the Steelix, you could go with the Kingdra. So those are all great options, but Lucario and Bastiodon are going to be the #1 and 2s. You definitely want to go acquire if you don't have already. Now if we head to Nightmare, before I click on this, Nightmare has been shaken up, and there is one Pokemon that everyone will have, and if you don't have it, you are kind of SOL, guys, and that's Gardevoir. with Charm, Gardevoir literally destroys everything. Gardevoir with Charm is going to do work to so many Pokemon, but that is going to bring about big counters for a Gardevoir, which is probably going to be the most popular one, will be a Bronzong or a Meteor Mash Metagross. So those are the options, but just look what it does. Umbreon, Hypno, Lucario, Drapion, and Skuntank get deleted by Gardevoir, and I wouldn't be surprised if it also takes out Toxicroak super easily. The rest of the Pokemon, obviously, you'll have to build a team around, but aim to get a Charm Gardevoir. That is going to be ridiculous. I'm not sure how many communities will do this tournament because of the fact that Gardevoir is so dominant. I personally wouldn't. I would try to stay away from this one. Go to other ones where it's a lot more spread out. But man, if you do the Nightmare Cup, get yourself a Gardevoir, guys. All right, moving into we'll go Rainbow, right? Rainbow was recently last month, as you guys remember, and nothing's really changed. There hasn't been major updates that have really drastically affected this. We still see that Fortress, Venusaur, Quagsire, Ninetales, Raichu, Kingdra, Lapras, Azumarill, Mantine. It's going to be the same stuff. It's going to be, because it's so recent, it's going to be the same Pokemon. And then Jungle Cup, obviously, we are in right now. So you guys are experiencing that. You guys kind of get the idea of the meta, what's happening. And one that maybe I think the majority of communities will look to do because it was such a fun tournament. It's the closest thing to an Open Cup tournament that we had. Was Season 1 Regionals, guys. And Season 1 Regionals was a ton of fun to participate in. Granted, there were some bans, but it's got the power Pokemon. Azumarill, Medicham, Skarmory, Altaria, Swampert, Bastiodon. That's just a scary line right there. Jirachi, Lucario, Whiscash, Tropius, Melmetal, Haunter, one of my personal favorites. Venusaur, Quagsire, Steelix, Toxicroak. It's got everything, guys. This is probably going to be the one that I think most communities will do. I think the tournaments will kind of go from this or Boulder will be the most popular. Boulder being a throwback, but it's updated, so it's like a new cup. And then Season 1 Regionals was just a ton of fun. So this is just the first look at it and what I plan to do with the MIR Cup, because we're in a weird situation, right? We have it's not a new cup, it's all old cups, and I already have a ton of videos on the old tournaments, but there may not be up to date. So what I'm looking to do with the MIR Cup for you guys is when I make a MIR Cup video, I'll have a subject. So let's say it'll be MIR Cup Season 1 Regionals. I'll kind of break down the meta more, build you guys a team or an ideal team with coverages that you need, and then dive into battles, and that'll be like MIR Cup Season 1 Regionals. And then I'll do that for Boulder, I'll do that for Twilight, so on and so forth. So you guys have a really good idea. It'll be a general broad video with some team building into it. Maybe I'll separate into 2 separate videos of meta with battles, team building with battles kind of thing, but that's what I aim to do. 1 or 2 videos for each one to kind of cover our basis, because there's 8 cups, so that's about 16 videos in the next 2 weeks that I need to do. So I need to be pumping these out for you guys. So stay tuned. I hope you guys liked today's video, and I hope you guys found it informative. So be sure to smash that like button, comment down below, and let me know what you guys think of the MIR Cup, what tournaments you guys are looking to do, if not do all of them just for the fun of it. And yeah, just let me know in the comments, guys. So like always, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.